Hello, one and all. Welcome to Chattanooga262's YouTube channel. Today we're going to be playing Factorio. We're going to be doing a little let's play of it, just kind of an introduction course, a little bit of tutorial. Going to be showing you the way that I do things. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be the best way to do things, though. I've been watching a couple tutorials myself on how to do things, and basically we're just going to jump right in, starting with the settings. My basic setup for beginning game, it varies from person to person. Later in the season we might be getting a couple of people join in, maybe do a couple rounds of multiplayer. So let's get started. As you see when you first load up the game, I'll actually go back here a little bit. You are introduced to the main menu here. I am playing on 13.17, I believe, the latest experimental version, available on Steam or through Factorio's website where you can play a free demo. I really recommend this game. A lot of people have rave reviews about it. Reviews on Steam are great. So I really recommend this. I hope you enjoy watching the video as well. So we're just going to go into the play menu now, and when you set up new games, there's a couple different options and stuff. Mods, it does have a heavy mod base. As you can see, I already have some installed, and we'll be getting to some of those a little bit later. And it's pretty easy to install on 13 setup. On the current stable version, I believe, is 12.31 last I checked, but not 100% sure on that. As I said, I'm playing on the experimental and have been for the past couple of weeks. Um, Notice a couple in here. Basically, to run the game, you'll just need this base mod, and that comes with the game. Factorio's dev team is actually pretty responsive, and the game following itself is pretty good as well, so highly recommended game. Alright, we'll get to playing now, so you select play, new game. This is going to be your basic setting menu. You have your frequency of your material list here, size of the deposits, and the richness. Now, I will be changing a couple of things from base vanilla game. Those are going to be stone here. I've noticed that a normal regular amounts does not spawn in high quantities, and it's more of a pain in the butt to actually do, so we're going to bump up the richness only on that to very good. If you make it big, then it gets in the way of the other resources, and this doesn't make the game fun in my opinion. The other thing is oil. I like to play with this on very good. That's just a casual suggestion on my part. Oil is kind of a pain in the butt, as you'll see when we get to later in the series. Enemy bases, I usually keep this regular because later in the game I like running around having some fun. Starting area, I will set to big. Now, there's going to be a reason for this. Basically, these are randomly generated worlds every time you load in, and because of that, there's different biomes that you can spawn in. Now, if you spawn in a forest biome, I consider yourself very lucky, because the plants and the ground type actually absorb the pollution being produced by your factory, and you'll see that later when we get in. But if you spawn in a desert or a sandy area where there's no trees, and the ground doesn't absorb as much pollution, then you're kind of worse off because your pollution spreads rapidly and then you're stuck there. So let's go ahead and jump in. Alright, and so Factorio Free Play is pretty much the base right now. So the ultimate goal of the game is to build a rocket with a rocket silo and launch a satellite into space. There's a couple different fun things we'll get to later with the rocket silos and production wise, but for now we're just going to start off. First thing coming in I like to do is observe kind of where I'm at. You can see the copper and the coal kind of sticking out right there. This is new in the 13 update. They have added a UI up here that's actually pretty neat. That's going to be your menu, your production statistics once we actually get producing things. That'll show information, bonuses that you've researched. This is going to be your map, trains. This is basically what the 13 update was about, was adding the trains and achievements. As you can see, I've already unlocked 16 of the 38, and I haven't fully completed the game yet, but hopefully we'll do that in this Let's Play. So getting into it, let's take a look at our map really quick, just so we can get a bearing of where we're at. Like I said, the water only really spawns in the starting area, and as you can see, so usual stone deposits on normal maps are going to be about this size. They're very, very small. You don't really get a lot of stone from them, but with turning it up to the very rich, you get a bit bigger of a stone deposit, but it's not overpowering that it'll, like, I've spawned on some maps where like copper is like here and that iron is like way down here because the stone has like taken over this entire part right there, and it is not the best. So let's go ahead and jump in. A couple things you'll note about UI: it's basic WASD controls. E is going to be your crafting menu that you start off with, and you start off with very, very limited technologies here, and that's, I mean, you got to research them as you go, and there will be different ways to automate stuff. So the first thing we want to start off doing is crafting our little iron axe. I only craft one at the beginning to start with. You don't want to craft any of these things yet. The iron axe actually speeds up your gather rate. So we'll go ahead and chop down some trees, get some fuel. As you can see, there's little floating text. This is pretty recent addition. It's been in most of them, but it actually counts it now for you. So once I get up to about 50, I'll actually go place down my first drill and first stone furnace, which you'll see down here. And that's what every game starts with, basically, and even on multiplayer games. Bonus for multiplayer is that you get multiple people to start with those things, so you can take off a little bit faster. It's not just, oh, you only start with one furnace and one drill. We're going to get this all mined out, and then we'll head down to our iron deposit. As you can see, the game has day and night cycles, and I probably at some point will go in and mod this, because recording wise you can't really see. I'm going to add a mod that allows me to put a light circle around my character and get rid of this awful tree collision, because base game trees are entirely too big, and as you can see, I'm working my way slowly towards the iron right now. It's just kind of a pain in the butt, and I'm going to have to clear this out a little bit so that I can get in there to actually place my mining drill. As you can see, when you can actually mine the iron yourself to start with. I prefer not to necessarily do that. I usually mine out trees until I have enough fuel to start with. So basic setup I use to begin with is the first thing you're going to want is not entirely coal, it's actually iron. You use R to rotate, then you place your fuel. Come down here, select your furnace. Now what you'll want to do is open your crafting inventory, click on your raw wood, and control right click into that, and it will actually place half of the stack in there for you. And as you can see, this is now this consuming fuel, so your raw wood here, and producing iron like that. So not too bad. And then that iron ore comes out through this little part right here. You can see that. Press Alt to enable the overlay, and that will actually turn off and show you what's being produced there. Now, iron plates are going to be the most essential thing early game, so you're actually probably gonna wanna throw this one down first. Sorry, I had a problem placing my fuel there. I'm having to use push to talk right now because my fish tank in the background is kind of loud. So iron's pretty much the first thing you want. It allows you to craft all the basic items so that you can get your assembly going. So we're just gonna take this out of here. And a couple different options. You can either control click, and that takes everything out of there. Control half click will take half of what's in there out. Or you could just go in and click the plates. I prefer the control clicking, it's just a little bit faster. And we're just going to continue clearing out these trees for a little bit here. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm clearing out a bigger area around the iron, and that's because I'm preparing basically the area for a couple different burner mining drills. At the first point in the game, I usually like getting about 4 of these going, 6 on the coal, and 1 on stone at least, so that we can keep producing them. Now, the base resources in the game you can see when you actually go to craft something. So if I highlight over this burner inserter, it says I need 1 iron plate and 1 iron gear wheel. But if you look down at the total raw, it'll tell you how long it takes to craft it from raw materials and what raw materials it actually needs to craft. So in this case, we have 1 second to craft. With 3 iron plates, we can make a burner inserter. Likewise, production tab over here, you can actually make the materials ahead of time. So say we were going to be crafting a lot of transport belts which carry the items and a lot of burner inserts. You'll notice that both of these take iron gear wheels, so you could come over and make iron gear wheels. Now there's 2 different ways of crafting stuff. You can either just click it and it'll auto craft it for you, and it'll actually show up in this bottom section right here, or you can right click it and it'll create 5 of that item. We're not going to do that right now because I don't really want to get into crafting day. It's just going to be kind of basic setup wise. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we actually want to head up to where stone is, but I am going to take the way around this time because walking through that forest is an absolute nightmare. Also added in the 13 update, these bigger rocks here you can actually mine now, which is great. In the 12 update, you just had to shoot them basically. You couldn't really do anything with them. It was pretty bad. I'm actually gonna turn down my game sound because that is kind of loud in my ears, and I don't want you to be subject to that. 1 second. Alright, now we're back. So as you can see, when I mined that, I got 20 stone. And we're going to need stone to craft the furnaces to craft the burner mining drill. So I'm going to go ahead and make all of those and then continue on mining the stones around me. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get these placed down on this iron. And you use Q to deselect an item. So like I have these furnaces, I don't want to build with them anymore. You press Q and it goes away. You can alternately, I don't really do this a lot, but instead of clicking down like you'll see me do a lot, I haven't really gotten used to the toolbars yet, but that is one way of doing things. Alright, we're actually going to go get coal set up first now that I got all those going. And coal will be pretty easy with 3 of the drills, although I really kind of want 4, so I'm actually going to head back to the iron really quick, grab a bit of that, and then I can make 4 of these. And that will actually greatly speed up our pre-game production of coal, just because coal really is the fastest or the best burning fuel substance at this point in the game. So you're going to want to get that mined pretty fast. My usual mining is going to start with that one iron drill on the iron. After I do that, I usually either go mine the stone deposit, or now you can mine the bigger rocks themselves, and that way you can produce more miners, because burner mining drills, and you'll notice the burner ones require fuel to run instead of actual electricity, will need sorry, I had to take a drink real quick. You'll notice that the burner mining drills will actually fuel themselves in the setup that I'm about to show you. So as you can see, the little arrows will rotate around, and all you need to do is hand mine one piece of coal. And then that will start up the whole cycle. So this one will mine some, and that one will go into that one, and then that goes into that, and that goes into that. And instead of building up in this production slot here, it will actually build up in the fuel slot. As you can see, one goes in. And basically, then you just come along, click, and there you got your coal. Now, both of these have different fuel uses, as you can see here in a second. Fuel value is 4 megajoules, and coal has a value of 8 megajoules. So coal burns 2 times as efficiently as wood does. Now, I'm just going to use wood now because I have to clear out this forest to run this iron. Then after that, we should be good to go. Another thing I want to do is I'm going to get a miner drill going on the stone. Looks like my tool, so I need to make another one. Now you'll notice, like, as you saw when my tool broke there, you actually mine this stuff slower, and even if you place crafted items, like if I were to come over to this furnace and try to uproot it without a tool in my slot, it would actually be a lot slower necessarily than mining that out, and it gets kind of annoying at times, to be honest. Just very, very slow. So yeah, I'm actually going to turn off the collisions of the trees with a mod starting on the next video. Here's something important to note. As you can see when we started, if you turn the overlay off, you won't be able to see it, but if you press Alt, turn the overlay on, you can actually see your pollution build up around where you're building. This is really helpful. You can't see them yet because I haven't put down a radar or anything, and we'll get to that in the next episode once we get electricity. But the pollution, once it hits the biter bases, the biters will become angered and they will start to attack you. After they start to attack you, you gotta build defenses, and that requires research and stuff, and we'll get to that in later episodes. But for now, we got our basic setup going. The last thing I'm going to want to do is come up to, let me double check where that stone deposit was again. There's one there and one there. I'm actually going to head over to this one over here so I can explore out the map a little bit. Just need to get to this stone deposit, get a little bit of stone, after noticing that there was one there, instead of having to walk through this forest again, but you can kind of see it through there. We're just going to mine this stone real quick till we have 5 so I can make another burner mining drill. Once I have this mining drill made, we're probably going to wrap the episode here after I get copper production set, which is basically the same as the iron production and the stone production here. A little bit, basically the same as the iron production, almost. Wrong menu. So put that down, and then I just put a box with this. Just take a full stack of 50 coal, and I just let that run until it builds up, and then I go back to the box and check on it now and again. I'm noticing now that a couple of our deposits have these, and I'll show you how to deal with that a little bit later in a few later episodes. Come back over to our coal now, just check on that, and we're going to head down to our iron and get those all fueled up for right now. As you can see, when stuff runs out of fuel, then it doesn't actually smelt the items. The previously smelted items will stay in there though, which is kind of nice. Go ahead and replace this with coal just because it is more efficient. As you saw, I moved the wood up to the burner drills, and later this won't be an issue once we get electricity going, but for now we're just gathering iron. And now we need to head back to our stone deposit really quick. And I've given it a little more time than usual to build it up. Usually only takes about 5 seconds to get enough stone for another one. But I wanted to build up enough where I could make 2 and then another 2 stone furnaces. That's kind of my basic setup, is I have 2 on copper. I'll get up to 4 on iron in a little bit, and I usually go with 6 coal total. You can see we had a bunch of stone there. 2 for the copper, 2 more for the coal, 1 more for the iron, and I'm going to go ahead and make 2 furnaces. We'll do a single furnace on the copper, because honestly the copper isn't really going to be an important part of the game until a little bit later on. Early on it's good that you have it, but you don't need it in as sheer of a number as when you get to some of the later tech. So just going to rearrange this real quick, and I will note that if you build over something while turning it, it will actually adjust that, and as you can see with my setup, they just continuously feed, so you don't have to worry about actually redoing it if you just leave it in part of the cycle. I'm going to head back over to our iron really quick. Grab a little more iron. And if you have something in your hand and say a tree is in the way, just right click and it will chop down that tree for you. Pretty simple. Oh, I'm actually in the way now. Go ahead and get that going. Alright, I'm gonna get stuck on more trees it seems. Now we're gonna head up to our copper deposit. I really need to turn off tree collision. And this light's not the best either. I'll show you how to change that in the next episode. Actually, it's just a quick install of 2 mods, to be honest. And honestly, I'm going to show you a couple mods probably throughout the series that I really find helpful when playing games. Now, when I'm playing multiplayer, I don't really use the mods because a couple of my friends don't really like playing modded games. But I prefer it if it's more of a UI change, not necessarily a game change. Although maybe in another Let's Play series playthrough, I might play on a mod that I really like that is pretty popular in the game as well. Just chopping trees now and get these out of the way for the copper. And I'm going to just set these down in a basic setup that feeds into the one furnace. As you can see, both inputs go into that furnace. And then boom, boom, boom. And we have copper smelting. Yeah. Check on a few more things, and we're basically set up for right now. So in the next episode, we'll actually be starting with the setup of automation, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna shoot tree. Alright, I'll see you next time, folks, and thank you for watching Factorio Let's Play.